I know personally, I worry like, will my students feel like they got all the time they needed in class today if I spend 15 minutes of a 45-minute class warming up or 15 minutes warming up and cooling down separately? It's like, but I really do believe that it's up to us to start teaching that. If we want longevity, and the beautiful thing about dancing is we see 91-year-old people dancing.
So what was your process like to choose to do strength and conditioning rather than syllabus or choreography?
Right. Well, I had multiple conversations with Wayne, and I always love seeing him call me because I'm like, what's it going to be? What are we going to do? It's always exciting because he's a creator. He's a creative person. And so we had a couple conversations, and he just said, well, what are your strengths? What do you like to do? And I was like, well, I'm a professional country dancer, so we could do some social stuff, country, two-step, line dance, whatever. And he's like, okay, and what about this and what about that? And we finally kind of landed on the strength and conditioning because the more we talked it out and the more he kind of filled the need in his demographic for everything else. My background has always been athletics. I was a gymnast, and growing up in gymnastics, you train hard, maybe 45 minutes on each event, but the rest is drills and strength and conditioning. Your body has to be able, and you cannot do 5 hours a day just knocking it dead and come back the next day. And I've noticed an undervalued area in ballroom dancing in particular of warming up, cooling down. I don't necessarily see a lot of people through various levels treating it like athletics. We treat it like art or something,
Yep.
And so I really just kind of wanted to share with his community this idea of mental health, physical health when it comes to, being agile and mobile and just creating, because I hear teachers' conversations too in the studio as far as like, okay, well, you have to be more fluid and more graceful. And their students are like, how?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just ability, like I don't necessarily know how, but if I'm able to, or if I have a similar feeling that I've felt in the past, I can connect the dots. And so for me, I wanted to explore that. And I had so much fun doing it. It was really beautiful for me.
Yeah, and I think that's a good reminder, again, to dancers at every level. I know as an instructor, I am the worst about setting aside time at the end of my lesson day to cool down and to stretch and to just recenter before I go home, because after teaching for 5, 6, 7 hours straight, I just want to take off my shoes, grab my bag, and get into my car. And you're right, the times that in my experience I've taken 20 minutes before a lesson to stretch and warm up, and I've taken 30 minutes or 40 minutes at the end to cool down and relax, my body has felt so much better the next day. So if you're a student that's listening to this, if you're a student that's listening to this, really do take to heart when your instructors say show up 10 to 15 minutes before your lesson, because we're saying that for a reason. Just do, rumba walks, do some standard line drills, do something to get your body into the mindset of dance. We've got a bunch of comments from chat. So I just want to take a quick second. Wayne has said, Hope is fabulous and she's going to be successful in anything she does.
Oh, thank you, Wayne.
Pat Hansen says, Pat Hansen says it was a great class. Morgan says, I so agree, Hope. I don't think I've ever had a group class start with a good stretch like I've done in contemporary or other styles. Yeah, our group classes, just speaking from an instructor mindset, I think we go into group classes with a mindset of we've got 45 minutes or 50 minutes to get through information, and we want to fill that class with as much information as possible. So we don't want to lose 5 or 10 minutes in the beginning of class to warm up. We're putting the onus on the students to arrive early and do that for themselves. So maybe as instructors, we should switch our mindset when it comes to that.
Just as an instructor point of view too, I think it's so necessary to teach the value. Because I think I know personally, I worry like, will my students feel like they got all the time they needed in class today if I spend 15 minutes of a 45-minute class warming up or 15 minutes warming up and cooling down separately? It's like, but I really do believe that it's up to us to start teaching that. If we want longevity, and the beautiful thing about dancing is we see 91-year-old people dancing. You can dance forever as long as you have the health and the ability for it. So I agree. It's something we kind of have to teach and make a priority.
Definitely, definitely.